Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing one more for Znation. Now that the series has ended, it is over. Going to go ahead and give our thoughts. We'll do a Q&A on whether or not we think that Syfy pulled the plug on Znation too early. Alright, so I decided I would go ahead and make at least one more video for Znation. I know they're kind of downers a little bit because we're talking about the end of a series here, so we're talking about the end of Znation. And I don't expect to make too many more of these videos with you guys, just maybe this one might be the last one for Q&A. I had an idea maybe we'd do a top 5 favorite characters in the end, type of video as well too, but they are kind of downers because it is so unfortunate to hear that Znation is over now and it has, officially ended and everything, and it won't be renewed for its sixth season. And based on what we're seeing, it does not look like Netflix will probably swoop in to save it, or some other channel or network will swoop in to save it. You can watch it on Netflix, and it's going to have its final season available on Netflix for people to see. But in terms of new episodes past the 5-year run, it looks like it's probably not going to be saved. It'll probably, morph into whatever Black Summer ends up being on Netflix, and then later on, people can watch that if they want to. But Znation's pretty much in the books now. It doesn't look like it's going to be saved based on timing, what we've seen so far. And so we can pretty much say that, yeah, it's over, it's ended, it's done, and probably nothing will change. But I'm still seeing a lot of people really kind of wanting to talk about Znation. Even more people more interested. I'm getting more comments right now on the channel for Znation than I am for Walking Dead, even when it's releasing trailers and stuff like that, which is really strange to see. But I guess the reality is that Znation had a lot of fans. It had a lot more fans than it probably seemed like, and there was a lot of things that Syfy really, I want to say, messed up in hindsight. And this one people have brought up in comments over the last couple weeks since it's ended here with this last episode, is that they did a horrible job of promoting the series. Each season when the series was on, and this year was season 5, they had a release date, and then they changed it, and then they didn't even release a proper trailer for the 5th season. Pretty much the way it works is this: when Comic-Con hits, right, when there's Comic-Con every year in July, and every series comes out with some kind of trailer or something. If you don't have a trailer, or you don't even have anything for your fans to check out or to see, or if you don't release it online and you don't promote it properly at all, you can't expect to see anybody actually tune in and really watch it, if you're not going to promote it. And if people don't know even when it's going to start and everything like that. I mean, I did videos letting people know when the 5th season premiere was going to start because nobody knew. Nobody had any idea when it was basically on, and I was doing a video to let people know, hey, it's on, because there's a lot of, zombie apocalypse fans that follow the channel, subscribe and everything, and thank you guys for subscribing. But nobody really even knew when it was on, So it's no surprise the series didn't work, and it probably could have gone on longer. It probably could have done much better, but it really seems to me like they did a lot of these episodes with probably almost no budget, and it not being promoted. What can you expect in terms of viewership and in terms of seeing people tune in to actually see it through? So was it killed off too soon? I mean, I think so. I think it could have. 5 years is not bad. At least they didn't cancel at the end of season 4 or something like that. 5 years is not bad, but to have that kind of, it was a show that was unique in what it was, where you have basically a zombie apocalypse that is done in kind of the comedy way. If you guys remember, back in the 80s and stuff, there was sort of another subsection of entertainment that doesn't really exist now in any large capacity, which is sort of, kind of comedy horror. It's Ash vs. Evil Dead. I guess that's one of the other series that's been out recently where it's like a horror series, so you have either zombies or the undead, Deadites and Ash vs. Evil Dead, with the Necronomicon and everything. And so it's its own type of thing. It's comedy mixed with horror, which is a really strange kind of combination to have. Every so often there'll be something like that'll come out, like a movie or something that's kind of a slasher comedy or spoof or something like that, and it's kind of fun. But Znation was the only one really that had kind of that comedy approach to a zombie apocalypse. It's not a series like The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead most of the time that takes itself more seriously. It can do kind of those comic booky kind of fun, zombie type of ideas that they had. And I thought they had some great ideas for the series. I thought they did some really fun stuff. They did order a lot of episodes, and they had a lot of episodes that were they were okay. There was a few episodes that were really kind of difficult to watch, like the Dream episode where you just keep dying over and over again in it. If you guys remember that one. I forget what season that was. Was that season like 3 or 2 or something like that? Something like that. But it is a shame. I do think the Z Nation could have gone on longer. And now that it's over, I'm just looking back at it thinking like it's no surprise why, right? It's basically no surprise why. But, if things could have gone differently for it, then I do think it probably could have gotten to season 6. And based on the fan support I'm seeing for it now, it doesn't feel to me, based on what I'm seeing here from you guys online, that it was a series that nobody cared about. It actually seems like there were a lot of people that did care about Z Nation, that did really like Z Nation, and are really sad to see it go. They're really sad to hear that it's over now. They can watch the episodes that have been produced for it, but there won't be any new in the future, and basically you have a fan base that's being dropped, right, is the big thing. And that's always hard on any fans, to where it's like, it's just canceled, and they didn't even let people know ahead of time. They didn't really... they didn't give us like a final season. Like Game of Thrones is ending this year too, but they let everybody know, okay, it's ending, this is what's happening. It's not the same as when you just air episodes and then you just cut it and cancel it, and then that's it, and your fan base is really kind of just left hanging there. So here's some of the comments we got. Shannon Gallaway says, please save Z Nation, Netflix, right? So she's one of the ones that wants to see Netflix come in and save it. Ross Jones says, that's pissed me off to no end, man. Just started watching season 5. F that, I ain't going to bother with the rest of the season now. I bet there's no proper ending, too. Yeah, it's not, the last episode I did a review for the final episode. If you want to watch it and you want to know what happens at the end of Z Nation, I'll have it in the end videos for you guys. You can check it out. It's not a bad episode to end the series on. It's kind of somewhat like a happy ending with sort of just one new development. So it's not really a cliffhanger, but it's basically Murphy eats someone's brain. I won't spoil it too badly for anybody who hasn't seen the final episode yet, and he maybe gets some ideas, right? He might be up to some mischief, but that's kind of Murphy anyway. And sort of, they kind of alluded to in an interview what the future for the characters would basically be like. And you have New America, or you have them, where they're just kind of, doing their thing. It's mostly peaceful. You have Addie that goes around, and some of the others that go around and on missions and this kind of deal. Murphy's, maybe causing a little bit of mischief, that type of deal. And everybody is pretty much okay. And everybody who survived up to that point, we're to assume, basically survives going on forward. And that's pretty much the ending. So you got to fill in the blanks a little bit too, to even kind of know, because they didn't really show it to you all the way through, but we get some kind of idea. It's not so terrible in terms of the drop-off point. It's just kind of awful the way they used it. They didn't let people know ahead of time, and I think they underestimated the fan base that Z Nation actually does have, right? Because it's kind of one of those comedy-esque shows. It gets beat on a lot, but people do watch it, and people did enjoy it, and people are kind of sad to hear it's over. Tori Hairston said, it hurts so bad. All right, so there's someone who's let down. GuardianXwolf says, Syfy is so retarded. Ugh, Z Nation is my favorite TV show. So there was even some people that it was their favorite show. That's crazy, right? BadlndsBob says, I just found Z Nation on Netflix and have been binge watching it. I'm sorry to hear that it is ending. Personally, I really enjoy zombie and apocalypse entertainment. So zombie apocalypse type of entertainment. Yeah, it's fun, man, for sure. United Kingdom of Five Eyes says, did this show have talking zombies? And yes, it did. So, you want to talk like whispers, like people whispering, whether or not they're dead and stuff. Z Nation's like, it's a good idea, but F that, we're just going to make the zombies talk. And they actually did a pretty good twist with it. They had some great twists with talking zombies. So, again, I won't ruin too much if people haven't seen it to the very end. But they used it really well, and they had some nice twists in there with the talking zombies. It was really cool. And they can do it because it's that type of universe where you can do the silly stuff and it fits in perfectly, so you can do a giant, cheese wheel or zombie wheel, stuff like this, zombie NATO. Leslie Sauceman, and we even saw like Fear the Walking Dead after they kind of did the hurricane thing too, so it felt like to me Z Nation had done kind of the zombie NATO idea, and then it's kind of like Fear the Walking Dead almost copied it afterwards, or maybe they didn't copy it, but they, it seemed to me like the people that were involved with Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, second half especially, had some understanding of Z Nation, because it started to feel a little bit like Z Nation sometimes, right? At least with the hurricane stuff, that's for sure. Leslie Sauceman, I love that show. It's hilarious. Love for Toys says, why Season 5 is not on Netflix yet? So Abel replied that it will be on the 27th. So the final season of Z Nation, if you want to watch the very end, you've got a little bit over a week here, 27th to the release date, like a week and a half. So if you want to watch the very last season of Z Nation and the final end of it, you can watch it there. And of course, we will be reviewing, giving our thoughts on Black Summer when it starts. But who knows if it's going to be any good, and who knows what kind of feel it's going to have. Whether they're going to go for the comedy type feel, or it's going to be straight, serious, fast zombies, and something like the Dawn of the Dead remake or something. Hardcore style. We'll see what style they go with. Cosmo says, damn, that sucks. I really like Z Nation. Like you said, it had a comical aspect to it. It didn't take itself too seriously. It's a show I would never get tired of. Same with all zombie movies or television series. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so I'm all about any kind of zombie flick. Like the Romero films for sure, right? So Cosmo is upset too. Daniel Good says, so with Netflix doing Black Summer, I'm hoping that Netflix will listen to the fans and bring us more Z Nation. Well, in terms of like if Netflix wanted to get a good series, they have so many series now, but it'd probably be easier for them to grab Z Nation and do it straight on Netflix each year for a few more years, and kind of help use that to kind of get more of a zombie apocalypse presence on Netflix, because they don't have much of one right now, and they're trying to get into it with Black Summer. But you already have a fan base with Z Nation, so if you promoted it properly and you gave it an okay budget, at least for a few really good episodes where you could do some really cool stuff, then I personally think that you could get that fan base to come over. You'd be able to get new viewers to check it out, and it'd probably be easier to save Z Nation than to bootstrap a totally new series like with Black Summer or any of the other series they're starting. But that said, who knows? Maybe they just want to start fresh and that's it, or maybe they just don't want to kind of try to take who knows? Sometimes there can be legal ramifications too, right? Like they can air it, but you don't know necessarily if they'd be able to kind of renew it or something, or take over the reins. Sometimes you'll see shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine will switch networks or things like that. But other times it's like, it depends on, there's legal concerns and things like that can get in the way. So it's kind of tricky. It depends on contracts and stuff. And certainly networks don't want to get into these legal battles. These things can go on for years. It can be a huge pain in the ass if they get into legal conflicts with other networks and stuff. They both got lots of money. They have big legal teams. And if there's, who knows what could happen. But if stuff doesn't go right, and somebody ends up suing, as you guys have seen with the Walking Dead lawsuit that's been going on for years now, like 3 or 4 years, and it's not even done yet, and it probably won't even be done for another 2 or 3 years for us to even find out, who's going to win that lawsuit. I think it'll go on for over 5 or 6 years. They don't want to get tied up in something like that. That legal stuff is nasty, man. And it's, the worst thing about legality stuff is it's not even who's right or wrong sometimes. It's just about whoever is making, whoever's on the jury or whoever the judge is, or whoever can sell the case the best, and which way they want to see it, right? So, and who's got the most money to throw at it is another big thing too. Whose legal team wants to stay with it longer until somebody quits or caves or decides that they don't give a shit anymore, just pay them or whatever. Papa was a Rolling Stone boom says, but Netflix or YouTube will pick it up. I hope so. So there's some people that still think that it could be saved and that someone else could grab it. I'm just thinking right now that it probably won't be, but who knows? I mean, I guess it's possible. Zombie God said, Z Nation over The Walking Dead any day. So I don't know if I can make that comparison and say I would pick, Z Nation over Walking Dead. You guys know I'm an old school Walking Dead fan, but I am very sad that Z Nation is over. And I was hoping that it could get renewed at least for one more year. But again, you got to promote it properly, and if you don't, you can't expect for it really to be able to do it. I think Syfy made a bad mistake. That's from Crystal Woods. So I think that's basically it to represent kind of how the fan base for Z Nation is feeling. I mean, that's kind of the way it is with any show when it gets dropped. If it gets canceled and it doesn't have like an ending that was set up and was epic, and the people were let know why and why it was going to be ending and whatever. But I guess at the same time we can't blame Syfy either, because if the ratings weren't there, they weren't there. But at the same time, they didn't promote it properly, like I said. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Was Z Nation killed off too early? I think it was, but it's no surprise because they really, it's almost like they had something that was close. Like it was close. It was something that could have been special. It could have been really, really good going forward, and could have gotten some more years out of it. But they kind of didn't give it the attention it deserved, I think. And they kind of dropped the ball, right? They dropped the ball with it, and it probably could have kept on. That zombie ball could have kept on rolling for a little bit longer, right? So that'll be it for my thoughts on Z Nation's End at this point, guys. If you want to see a top 5 favorite characters video from me. Go down, my top 5 or top 10 favorite characters from Z Nation. Now that it's over, leave a comment below. Let me know, and let me know who some of your favorite characters were in the series, how you're feeling at this point about the end of the show. And if you haven't seen the final season, check Netflix back on the 27th to see it end off there and get to see the final episodes if you missed them on Syfy. Yeah, they're in the doghouse right now. I don't care about Syfy. Screw Syfy. If you guys like the video, thumb it up below. Share a favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, this is Trev. And I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.